Hi, everyone. I am Suzanne Stroud of Suzanne Stroud Speaks. Thank you for joining me for another live and impactful video. My favorite motto is I am not here to change your mind, only to offer you a different perspective. So, what I typically do is I take your life experience or belief and well, not I, you take your life experience and belief and you merge it with with whatever tips or tools or information that I provide, and then the outcome is either you will either remain the same, um, and there's nothing wrong with that, it's your choice, or you will have a new perspective on that situation and you will desire to do something different. So I wanted to kind of share something with you all. That I experienced this weekend. I had received a disturbing phone call from a family member telling me that a loved one of ours was in a very bad accident and that they were in critical care and that I needed to get where they were. Now, granted, me and the caller, we were both 4 hours away from where this incident happened with our family member. And the incident didn't happen where our family member lives. So um, I immediately made plans to get in the car and get on the road to get there. So naturally, you know what happens with all of us whenever we receive a phone call from someone and it's not good news. Our mind just starts going, and I'm going to tell you, I was anxious. I had to find ways to bring my anxiety down because I didn't know what to expect. They said that our family member was in critical care, and just to get there. And so I took the ride, and my mind was just thinking, oh my God, how bad is this? Am I going to have to come back up the road again for a funeral? This, that. And then I had to kind of bring that under control. I said, you know what? It's not going to be as bad. I started praying and just believe that it wasn't as bad as I thought, because sometimes we can allow our minds to take us into so many places that may not even exist. We may not even have to face that, but we've already made up in our mind what the situation is going to be. So I get to the destination, I get to the hospital, and I'm anxious to kind of get in there and see um, and to see my loved one. And when I walked into the room, it was nothing that I imagined. Now, granted, they had 6 broken ribs and some bruises, and it was a motorcycle accident. And I was like, oh my God, I'm looking at like prayer at its finest, a prayer life at its finest, because they did not look like they had been in a car accident, and a motorcycle accident. And the driver of the motorcycle, they only had a busted lip and maybe some bruising on their left side. So I was like, oh my God, thank you. And I'm glad that I didn't waste a lot of time in that anxiety, because it would have been just wasted energy. Anxiety sometimes is wasted energy. It's a promise on something that may not happen. You're formulating all these things in your mind. So we were grateful that everything went well. Family member, like I said, came, 4 hours away from 5 different states in less than 4.5 hours. So I was just like, wow. But then on my ride home, back home, I was thinking, how we take life for granted. And we always think that tomorrow is going to be promised. We always think that we'll go to bed that evening and wake up and go and do what we need to do, or we'll leave our homes or our jobs or whatever, and we'll make it back home to our families. And none of that is promised. And so that's why one of the things I want to try to point out to you, my very first point, is that we must stay prayed up and prepared. So I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I pray. And I just believe that he will cover me and my family. That's just something that I believe. And so I know for my loved one, this person is always up at 4 5 in the morning with her prayer team, praying with folks, praying for her family, and so on and so forth. So I believe that, God truly um, had them covered during this time. And so that's why it's important for us to stay, prayed up and to have that relationship and to be prepared. We never know when we may get a phone call. And not saying that we have to walk around waiting on a phone call, but just kind of have that conversation in your mind, how you may respond or what you will do, or how you're gonna, and not have anxiety over it, but just kind of know. So the second thing I want to point out to you is have a life insurance policy. I know on my ride up, I was thinking, oh my God, am I going to have to come back up for a funeral? What will we do? This, that, and the other. But when I tell you that this person is not only prayed up and prepared, they have the life insurance policies in place. They have a specific policy just for the burial and then policies for everybody else to kind of do what they want. And I'm not saying that you have a life insurance policy so you could get rich off of someone's life. I mean, off of their death. I'm suggesting you get a life insurance policy because it's necessary. Because when we die, and we will die, or when our loved ones die, we don't want to have to worry about where to get the money from. Now, I'm not knocking GoFundMe. I think that it has its place, it has its purpose, and it has served a lot of people well. But I do not think that GoFundMe accounts should be the go-to to bury loved ones. I think that, for those who work, you have jobs that offer life insurance policies. Those life insurance policies, because they're, their term life and their group, it doesn't cost that much to get a policy. So, get a life insurance policy on yourself, your children, your parents, if they don't have one. I know I just recently had a grandson. I didn't have the grandson, but I have a grandson. He was born in October, and the next month I had a life insurance policy on him and his sister. And some of my friends said, well, he's not even a month old and you have a life insurance policy. Well, you know what? Babies die. Unfortunately, babies die. And you shouldn't have to worry about how you're going to take care of a loved one in those final days. So get a life insurance policy. A life insurance policy is not going to cost you that much money. It will cost you monthly what it costs many people to have 2 cups of premium coffee twice a week. And I'm not knocking, I'm not judging anybody with what I'm about to say, but there are some people who live good, drive good, hair done, nails done, eyelashes, all of these things, $100 shoes. If you and someone in your family, if your kids or you all walk around with $100 shoes, $100 purses, all these other things, and you don't have a life insurance policy, I'm not judging you, but I am saying shame on you because the priorities are just all skewed. It's just a mess. So I'm encouraging you to look for a life insurance policy. They advertise them on television all the time. I know Mutual of Omaha is always sending stuff in the mail. So get a life insurance policy. And then once you get the policy, make sure that you know where everyone knows where to find the information. My husband and I, we have our information in a safe deposit box. So many banks or credit unions, offer safe deposit boxes, and they don't cost that much. They're not that expensive. And we have our important papers there. We even have in an envelope our passwords to our electronic devices because everything is electronic now. And so now you can't get into devices because they're locked. You either got to have somebody's eye, their finger, their elbow, their big toe. I don't know, but you want to be able to get access to that information because here's the thing. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time looking for some paperwork, looking something up because you're not in that state of mind. If something happens, you're just not in that state of mind. I remember before my mom passed away a couple of years ago, I was thinking about having the conversation with her because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, because those of you who know me know I'm very honest. I was getting ready to go out of the country. And all I kept saying was, oh my God, I just don't want her to die before I go on my trip or while I'm on my trip. I just don't want to have to deal with that. Say what you want about me, but I'm being honest. Some of you need to be honest too. So I had the conversation with her. I asked her, I said, Mom, do you still have the life insurance policy? And she responded, she said, well, I think I do, but they were taking it out of my account and now it doesn't happen anymore. She was in early stages of dementia. So I called the insurance company and I happened to be the beneficiary on the policy. It just so happened that the policy was in its lapse state, had been lapsed for almost 3 months, and it was about to be terminated. So that I hurried and got that paid up and kept those payments going so that when that time came, I wouldn't have to worry about that. So I want to encourage you to get that, have the conversation. You're married, you and your spouse need to have the conversation. You need to talk to your children. If you have elderly people in your life, make sure that they have something. Don't automatically go to GoFundMe to make the responsibility of burying your loved ones on other people. Now, granted, there are situations where people have like major accidents or things happen, and people want to find a way to donate to help, out of the goodness of their heart. I support that, but to just not have a policy, that's just not cool. And then have a place where everyone can find it. And so then the other thing I want to say to you is, On my driver's license, on the back of my driver's license, and I did one for my daughter, my husband, and my son, I made a label on the back that has who to reach out to. So many of us, when we leave the house in a hurry, many people are jogging and exercising now, riding bikes, skating, just doing whatever. Sometimes we just leave with our driver's license and maybe a credit card. And if something were to happen to you, how would someone know who to get in touch with? So on the back of the driver's license, I have my husband's phone number, I have my daughter's phone number, and then I have my preferred hospital should something happen in my city. And then on their cards, I have my number and another person. And so it just kind of goes down the line. So I don't want to be a John or a Jane Doe um, for an extended period of time. If something happens, I want, medical professionals to be able to get in touch with whoever I need to get in touch with, whoever needs to be reached. So you might want to make sure that, family members can be reached. So the whole point of this video is because I was having this thought on my way back, traveling from Richmond, Virginia this weekend. And I just thought that I needed to kind of come on and give this thought-provoking conversation to those who will view this video. And I encourage you to share it with everyone that you know, because it's important. And I know that it's tough to talk about death. We don't want to think that it's going to happen, but people, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. So at least be prepared, because I live, 13 hours away from where my mom lived. And I didn't want to have to worry about that stuff being this far away. So on one of my visits, I went to the funeral home. I visited the funeral home. I met with the funeral director, spoke to him, had some questions. At this point, I had signed the policy over to them. So when she did pass away, all I had to do was let the family know, and we did what needed to be done. So when you're thinking about a policy, get something anywhere between to bury someone, it's going to be anywhere between $500 to $7,500. If you do cremation, you'll come right at $5. But that's a lot of money, and not many of us are sitting around with $7,000 in our bank accounts. And so have the conversation, be responsible, and make sure that you're taking care of your family, your loved ones, because why should you go in debt over someone's death? That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. And I know we say, oh, we love this person. I mean, we got to do the best for them. You know what? They're gone. They're gone, and they don't even know that you're spending that money. So here's the thing. Prayer is being, prayer is real. Being prayed up is real. I just want to make that point. I'm recapping. Get a life insurance policy and make sure everyone knows where to find the information, and place the information on the back of your driver's license card, so someone will know where to find your loved ones. Let's be responsible people. And as I said, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm just here to offer you a different perspective. So hopefully you found this information very helpful. Again, I am Suzanne Stroud, Suzanne Stroud Speaks. And hey, I just want to make sure that everyone is taken care of. So you have a super duper day and go be great. That's all you can be.